Okay, this is the video key for the 2-for-1 assignment that I promise you 2 of your lowest will be replaced. But you have to make sure you check your work. Everything I do, make sure you write down the 5 words to show me that you truly listen from beginning to end. So here we go. First one are the translations, moving lines up or down, where I give you the translation and give you where to move it, or we give you the first and the second line and we ask you what the translation form was. What was the shift, up or down? So here we go. First word is green. Green. So for this first one, when I give f of x first, that is the pre-image. That's where I'm starting at 1 on the y-axis, that y-intercept number, and then that number in front of x, my rate of change, which gives me my rise and run, starting from 1 over 2, up 1, over 2, up 1, right 2, up 1. Series step the other way, down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2. Draw a straight line through it. That's an explicit function. All points. That is your starting pre-image. This shift number tells you how far up or down the y-axis you're moving that line, how far up or down that y-axis line. That's -3. So from where I started that first one, count down 3 boxes on the y-axis. That's going to be your new y-intercept. That's the shift. And then the same slope, right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, down 2, down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2. Be precise. Draw your line. Label them for me. This is the g of x line. The first one is the f of x line. That equation is given to you. That was the first one I gave you. I give that to you. The second one, after the move, you could get that equation with your eyeball using that exact same 1/2 x, that exact same slope and y-intercept, or that exact same slope, but this one has a y-intercept using your eyeball of -2 right there. Or you could have got that same y-intercept algebraically by taking that translation form where all the change is happening and substitute that one piece from the f of x equation in there. Still have that -3, and then remember that 1 minus 3, that's algebraically where that y-intercept number is coming from. So again, start with what I give you, look at the shift, move it up or down to the new spot on the y-intercept, use your eyeball or substitution to get the new equation. I'm looking for this, where it is on the graph and what the equation is. All right, second word is wave. Wave. Next one, the g of x is the first one. So no, whatever I give you first is going to be the pre-image. Whatever is listed second mostly is where the change is happening, the image, the translation form. So here we go. Starting at -2 on the y-axis. Tricky one with no number in front of that -x. No, that's really -1x. And if you take that -1 and make it into a fraction, you put that over 1. So that -x really is going over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1. Stair step the opposite way, up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. Draw your line. For this one, the pre-image is the g of x line. Label that. It's not always the f of x line first. Sometimes it's the g of x line getting to you first. This shift tells me up 6 on the y-axis. So starting from here, not at the origin, starting from where you got the y-intercept for that first one, up 6. 1, 2. That's going to be where my new y-intercept is, taking that first line and shoving it up the y-axis 6 boxes. Same slope, over 1, down 1, left 1, up 1. Draw your line, and label it. Know that for this one, this is the f of x line. I gave you the original g of x equation, -1x or -x minus 2. Know that for the red equation, after the translation after the vertical shift. Still has that same negative x action, but my y-intercept, my eyeball tells me 1, 2 is +4. And again, algebraically, I could have got that new f of x equation by plugging in, this time, the g of x piece into that translation form. And then that -2 and that 6, that's where I get the new image y-intercept of +4 right there, algebraically. And again, on these, I'm looking for you to graph the original, to look at the shift and graph the new one, and then use your eyeball or math to give me the equation of the new line. All right, these ones, I've given you the pre-image and the image already done for you, and you need to look at those y-intercept numbers and see the change. So for this first one, this is where it's starting, this is where it's going. Really, what's happening on the y-axis that you need to know for that problem is you got one line starting up there at 6 on the y-axis. You got another one now at 2 on the y-axis. You gotta know what happened there. Looks like it's going down. So again, kind of understand what's going on here. So for this, from that 6 plus some unknown k number, I'm gonna get that last y-intercept 2. And hopefully you can see right there, take away 6, show me this easy math. That gives me the shift was going down 4. To get from 6 on the y-axis down to 2, I'm going down 4. So the translation form is the g of x, the new one, equals the first one right here, with that vertical shift, taking that first one and moving it down 4. That's the equation I'm looking for. That's the translation form. I took the first one, plugged it in, and again, that math that you're doing, if I put that -2x plus 6 in there instead of f of x, that 6 and that 4 would give me that 2. Again, so that's what we're doing. All right, for that one, that's the answer I'm looking for. That's the equation, or that's the translation form. All right, for a graph, you need to see the y-intercept and do the math yourself. Again, for this one, these points without little marks, this is the pre-image. The ones with the marks is the image. So just by looking at that, it's starting at 1, 2, 3 on the y-axis right here, and it's going down to -4 on the y-axis. So hopefully you can see that's going down 7. Some people right away see that the new line, that red g of x line, came from that first line being moved down 7. That's the translation form I'm looking for. Or you could have took those y-intercept numbers, that 3 plus some unknown k number, equal that -4. And if you solve that algebraically, you should see that the k number is going to be -7, going down 7. All right, for a table, I would like you to be able to write the equations of these. Really what you're doing is comparing the y-intercepts, knowing that the first one is where you're starting, the second one is where you're going. So from 6 to 1, some people could see, oh, that's going down by 1. Instantly, this from 6 to 1 right here, looking at those y-intercept numbers, if it's 6 on the y-axis, going down to 1 on the y-axis, hopefully you could see that's a drop of 5 right there. So some people could see that the new line, which is the f of x line for this one, started at the g of x line. The new line, the f of x line, came from me taking that original one and moving it down the y-axis 5. I would like you to write this work though. I want you to realize for this table, this is going up by 3. That's my rate of change. I want you to be able to write equations. That g of x equation is that slope number in front of x plus its y-intercept of 6. That f of x1 has that same slope of 3x, but a y-intercept of 1. And then right there, that's where I'm doing the math. But my pen lets me write. Taking this 6 right here, plus that unknown k number for this one, equal to that 1. Take away 6 on both sides, gives me the -5 number. Make sure you're writing all of this with my words to get the 2 for 1. All right, the third word is wash. Wash. All right, almost done. These, a little bit of geometry with algebra. Similar triangles. Know that this is the little one inside, where I give you all the lengths, and then the big daddy one on the outside. But I don't give you all those lengths. I give you one piece is x that I'm trying to find, but then this piece up here, you got to take that 24 and 6 to add it to get 30. That's the entire length of that big triangle. And then this entire length right here is 20. So those are the key numbers I'm really looking for. The big triangle, if you really drew that out, has a length here of 20, 30, and x. That little bitty one has 4, 10, and 6. I'm solving for x. A lot of people are taking that x, putting it either over 10, and staying consistent and doing maybe like 20 over 4. Maybe that'd be a money one right there. Crisscross, multiply. Know that there's other ratios I could do. I could do 10 over x as long as I stay consistent and do 4 over 20. Or of course I could do something else entirely different. I could do x over 30 as long as I do 10 over 6. And notice I'm not using any of these numbers right here. Those numbers will fool you. Back to that top one there. 4 times x. That gives me 4x. I'm going to erase this. And then 10 times 20 gives me 200. If I divide accurately, I should get x equals 5 for this one. So one way gives me 4x equals. The other way, 20 times 10 gives me 200. Stop right there. And now the opposite, timesing by 4, dividing by 4. Divide both sides by 4. That gives me x has to be 50. This value has to be 50. And that makes sense, because if I take this 10 and times it by 5, I get 50. If I take this 6, times it by 5, 30. Take this 4, times it by 5, 20. But notice, when I take that 4 times 5, I'm not getting 16. When I take 6, I'm not getting 24. Those numbers I'm using to find the entire length. All right, this next one's a little trickier because when I set up that ratio, I got x plus 2. I'm going to distribute. So this one is 9. This length right here all the way on top is 12. Hopefully you're seeing that. I'm going to set this one up as x plus 2 over 9. So I'm doing the hypotenuse of the big one over the side of the big one. Make sure I keep that equal to the hypotenuse of the little. My pen lets me write. Hypotenuse of the little over the side of the little. When you're distributing this one though, or crisscrossing, careful. That 3, the way I'm setting this one up, I'm going to have to distribute. If you set it up another way, you are still going to have to distribute. Maybe you set that up as x over 2 over 12. As long as you did 7 over 4. That one you're distributing 4 times the x and the 2. But distribute, know that that in disguise is this. If I just wrote it like this, some of you would remember that I'm timesing that 3 times x, 3 times 2 to get 3x plus 6. That's really what I'm doing. When I take that 4 times x plus 2, I'm distributing to get 4x plus 8. Got to remember that. So for this one, 3 times x plus 2 gives me 3x plus 6. 7 times 9, 63. Now it's a two-step equation where I take away 6 on both sides, bring down the 3x. This gives me 59, I believe. Divide both sides by 3. Check my arithmetic because I'm never trusting my arithmetic. I'm always going to use a calculator. So 63 times, take away 6. Yep, oh, 57. See? Never trust arithmetic to your head. Always use a tool, calculator. 57. And then 57 divided by 3 is 19. Know that for this one, I'm having you solve for x. I solve for x. X equals 19. But just know, if I wanted really instead like the length of AB, I'm like, what's the length of AB? Know that that work that you did doesn't give you the length of AB. It just gives you the tool to find out. If you put that 19 right there, that's really the length right there, 21. And that makes sense. 7 times 3, 21. 4 times 3, 12. 3 times 3, 9. So again, know that x doesn't represent the length, just represents you solving for x. You could use it and plug it in. The third word is over. Over. Almost done. All right, for this, I'm looking at this one has a AAS. I want 2 angles in a row and a side. It looks like I've given you an angle and a side. I got to put a mark on here that shows 2 angles in a row and a side. So that means you do not want to put an angle like this. That would be angle, side, angle. And that would also even be kind of bad because that's showing all 4 equal angles. Even if you did this, that's still angle, side, angle. Don't want to do that. I want angle, angle, side. So I need to make sure for this one, take my angle and put it right here. Make sure I put it in the right spot on the other triangle. Make sure I put double marks. Look for that because you want these 2 pairs to be equal, but then you want separately these to be equal. You wouldn't want to put just one little arc because that would show all 4 equal. So right there, that shows angle, another angle in a row, and a side. Wouldn't want to put a side right here. That would be side, angle, side. All right, for the next one, the mark to get angle, side, angle, I have an angle right here, a side. I need to put my other angle right here. Put double. That is angle, side, angle now. Would not want to put a side right here because that would be side, angle, side. So hopefully you're starting to see some of this. So for that one, that's where the mark goes. Make sure you put that double arc. And then the last one here, these are congruent. Label it. This is A, B, C. Look at the order. The tip to the base here looks like almost right angle. Not a right angle though, to here. So if I label that the same way with D, E, F, got to be precise. Can't just put D up here. That wouldn't be right because that's like me saying I put A up here, but I didn't. So make sure that D has to go right here. So D, E, F. Kind of like this one did. A, B, C. Got to keep it accurate if they're congruent. And then the angles. This is 95. This little one is 20. And then this one is 65. Or you could put symbols in there. You could say like this. 1 arc. 1 arc. 2 arcs right here. These 2 right here. 3 right here. So you could do that. And then these are congruent because maybe, you know, these sides are all the same or something. I don't know. All right. So questions? Nope. All right. Last word is sky. Sky. And it looks like for that one, really, you know, that's kind of, I should have put similar right there. I'm seeing that now. If I wanted you to really look at those as congruent, I would have had those be the same size. So let's just pretend like these are not to scale. Oh, sorry about that. And then hopefully you got that last word, sky. All right, so show me all this work and those 5 words. I'll give you the true 2 for 1. I promise. Good luck.